We farm about 400 hectares in total at the moment, 420 I think it is. On this farm just here, which we're running 150 effective hectares under dairying, and the rest of it's classed as runoff. We grow our own maize, cereal, and winter a lot of our cows here and young stock. We've at the moment got 4 full-times.
Yep, 4 full-times, yep.
And 1 full-time part-time.
He can't sit still. There's always something to be done. David does a lot of the tractor work. We don't get a lot of contractors in. A lot of that's timing, because you get a good crop by doing, proper cultivation, and also your timing's imperative.
Tell me about the calf rearing.
So I have a system now after 14 years, and it seems to work. And it's really simple. I treat the calves. I rear the calves like I rear my children. Just keep it really simple, and I warm the milk, which I think is the trick. In fact, I actually banned David and his father from coming into the calf shed unless they were invited.
We'll do about, off this 150 hectares here, we'll do about 260,000 kilos of milk solids. So this year, with the higher payout and what have you, we are feeding a wee bit more supplement, so we've raised the stocking rate. First thing we tried to do was monitor our irrigation a lot closely and try and stop any water running off, but that's virtually impossible. The border diking was set up in the 80s, so I presume it was a government scheme with government subsidy. Dairying moved into the area in the early 80s. I guess intensive farming's created some issues. Perhaps the authorities might ban certain types of irrigation, border diking, pivots seem to be the preferred choice of irrigation because they thought it was the most efficient use of water. You can put on half the water holding capacity of the soil, so you're getting no runoff. But
I don't think necessarily, not for everybody, that pivots are the answer. Okay. I think there can be a combination.
We've always nutrient tested and done a nutrient budget. If we weren't learning anything, we wouldn't continue doing it.
Well, it just means you're not going to put unnecessary fertiliser on if it's not required, are you? And that's an expense, and that's my department.
The effluent system in the shed is pumped out through a travelling irrigator, so all the wash water goes into a wedge, and then a float switch controls a pump which pumps it to the irrigator. We do about 35 hectares. We find that if you run the irrigator quite fast, then it doesn't cause any harm to the pasture and the cows eat the grass. This year with the higher stocking rate, we're milking at the moment about 530 cows, 526 off 150 hectares, so we do have to put supplements in every now and then.
Sure. Other people go to the movies or go out for a meal as family events. We go tree planting or wood cutting, or it's a family affair. No, David's constantly planting all the time. Shelter belts are important for stock health, and because that's my main objection to putting a pivot on this particular block, because as you said, there's beautiful trees out there.
Moving on, the animal welfare thing will become a big part of New Zealand's clean green image, and shade and shelter will be a part of that. Yeah, border diking certainly allows for good trees. We like the different varieties.
Particularly around the house, we've planted a lot of natives, but I still got my roses because I like them.
And everything everyone does has an impact on the environment. It's just a matter of trying to minimally impact the environment on how you go about life, I guess.
So that's part of our thinking, what are we going to leave our children? And there's room for everything if it's managed correctly, and that's what we try to do.
Number one, you've got to be a profitable business before you can enhance the environment, because if you're slowly going broke, you've got no options. How can you spend anything on the environment? These awards are about sustainable farming, so the environment is part of that. I think labour management is another key part of sustainable farming.
We got that they want a life outside of of work, as just the same as we do, so that's why we do it. We also try to provide them with their own housing, so, and we try to keep the houses separate so that they actually have space from the people they work for.
We're members of the Amuri Dairy Employers Group, and each year we carry out a survey of the workforce of our members, and there's certainly not many young people in dairy farms anymore. There's new generation coming through, as well as the long hours a lot of dairy farmers expect from their staff.